This is Danny Gaffone for ESBR Boxing Manchester. We've just had the final press conference from Mauricio Lara versus Lee Wood 2. Pleasure to be joined by promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, how much credit does Lee Wood deserve for stepping straight back in after, 12 weeks with someone as dangerous as Mauricio Lara?
Yeah, he's walking around like he's the favourite, you know. I think I've never seen a fighter so confident who's just been stopped. And, you know, this is a tough fight for both. I mean, the first fight, Lee Wood was controlling the fight. In a tough fight, both guys were hurt. You know, he got hit by a huge shot, and that towel all of a sudden is looking like a good towel from Ben Davison because he gets the rematch in quick time. He will be ready, and he believes he can win on Saturday night.
If that towel doesn't come in, do we see the rematch so quickly?
Definitely not. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but if he gets flattened or he gets hurt, this rematch doesn't happen. So we'll see what happens on Saturday, but it may look like a master stroke.
Josh Warrington the natural fight for the winner, do you think?
I think so. I mean, you've also got Conor and Lopez, you know, in Belfast. We'll see what happens with that. Josh Warrington will be there on Saturday, but he certainly wants a shot at the winner.
Just away from Saturday night, obviously we're not even a week removed from the big fight night in Ireland last weekend. Have you had any concrete discussions with Katie Taylor over whether she's going to take the Cameron rematch? I've heard you speaking in other interviews of potentially revisiting the Serrano fight. What do you think's most likely?
I think there's two fights out there for her. One is Amanda Serrano and one is Chantel Cameron. I think in her head, she'll just want to try and avenge that defeat. She thinks she didn't perform well, but you can't take away from Chantel Cameron, who was fantastic on the night. So we'll see. We will be back in Ireland in October, November at the latest, and I think it will be one of those two next.
Just on fight week in Ireland, obviously Conor McGregor was a very interesting sort of sideshow from that. Everything all right with Conor, you think?
Yeah, I mean, Conor's Conor. You know, he's a million miles an hour. He's a lot of entertainment. He's a bit of a madman as well at the same stage. But, you know, he was a huge support for the show, not just for his sponsorship, but his support of Katie Taylor and pushing the event. And I think he's back now getting ready for his fight in America.
The reason I asked, though, I've seen a couple of interviews and they seem to be like slurring his words a bit up and down and sort of going off on these tangents. And then True Geordie put up a video last night where he reckons Conor could have a drug problem. Was there anything you've seen that maybe indicate that?
I just see a guy who's full of passion, excitement and just non-stop. You know, when you're talking to 500 people a day, it's quite difficult to always have the same energy. I do it, you know, trying to go through all you guys, and then one interview you might see me a bit tired at the end. Everyone goes, "Oh, Eddie don't seem on form, you know, seems a bit down." It's like, no, just fucking knackered, to be honest with you. But, you know, Conor's Conor. I think he's a maverick. So, you know.
Someone who grew up on Conor McGregor, I hope you're right. Just away from that, obviously saw the collapse of Liam Smith versus Chris Eubank Jr. too. Again, you've sort of stirred the pot a wee bit with a photo of Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. Are you looking at making that fight again now?
Yeah, I've had enough, really. You know, I think that fight was nearly made. It was made a year ago. Obviously, with everything that's gone on, there's still a process that he has to go through with UCAD, which is ongoing and looking positive as well. But at the same time, I just want to make the fight. It's the biggest fight for both of them. There's been a lot of talk over the last year, and I'd like to see it. So that was just me saying, it's time. You know, we were close to making it before, but run out of time, and now obviously that'll present itself, that fight, with Liam Smith being out of that fight.
Are you confident then of a favourable outcome with UCAD and having the fight in the UK, or maybe still looking abroad?
I'm biased because I think there should be a favourable outcome, but, you know, we'll have to see what they decide.
And just on that Conor situation, we saw the thing with Kell Brook, the sort of push and a pull. A lot of people online saying maybe slightly contrived, just so happened to happen whilst the zone was live. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it wasn't the zone, it was Matchroom, YouTube. But I think when you talk about sort of contrived, I mean, there's a difference between like everybody texting each other saying this is what we're going to do, and Conor Benn going, I'm going to go and stick it on him. I think he did think that. Kell Brook knew nothing about it, but I think Conor Benn was premeditated to the point where when he see him, he thought, I'm going to go and do this now on camera because I want to get in his face. He's talked shit about me. I want to make some noise. So never, you know, between two fighters, you never get a situation where you would ever say, right, do this, and you grab him around the throat, and because they're madmen, they're just going to go off. But yeah, from Conor's point of view, I think it was a statement. You know, he wants all the smoke.
Just last thing, Eddie, because there's a bit of a queue for him. And what's the latest with talks for Joshua Wilder in Saudi? I know you've said you've had talks, but there's been no sort of formal figures discussed or anything like that. Where do we stand, and when do you think you might have maybe a time frame? Because I know you're looking to maybe have a summer fight with AJ potentially still.
Still no offer from the Saudis, but obviously, you know, they tell us they want to do it, and we're waiting on that. But we're running out of time for August. That's when we want to fight, and AJ's now back in camp preparing for that August fight. So we'll see how that progresses over the next few days, but there's a lot of people out there that want to fight. I think it's the Usyk purse bid today. Fury obviously wants to fight himself. Wilder, I don't know what he's doing. Dillian White's looking for a fight, so I think you're going to see it all come together quickly over the next couple of weeks.
Just lastly, you mentioned Tyson Fury there. He's been linked with a fight with Dempsey McCain over the past few days. I think I saw an interview with you where you said you don't see him fighting in Australia, but then I seen Jai Opataia's come up as another name. Do you still stand? Can we see Tyson down under?
No, you won't see him down. But listen, he's a great self-promoter. I wish we could get the fight with Dempsey McCain. I'd love it. But, you know, I know the numbers that the government pay for fighters over there. It's not enough to satisfy him. But it's a good talking point. You know, he's gone over there. He creates headlines, and all those other promoters are talking to him, genuinely excited that they're going to get the shot. But they don't know Tyson Fury as well as we know him. But he's definitely looking to fight, so we'll see what happens.
So I know I said very last one. I've got people in Manchester asking, Eddie, are you going to return to the Mad Fight Day 5Ks?
Yes, I did the 5K in Dublin.
The full 5K?
Yeah, the full 5K. Very slow. But I've still got a calf problem, but I did the 5K last time, 28 minutes. I'll be there this Saturday, no excuses, get yourself down there. It'll be very slow from me, but I'll be there.
As opposed to the blistering times. Eddie Hearn, thanks very much.
All right, mind yourself.